Hi you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with another weekly video on creating an indoor space and environment that really supports your health and wellness. This week we're going to be talking about how to organize your house but plastic free. I think a lot of times when we go to organize our house at the beginning of the year, we do it with a lot of plastic because it's inexpensive and it's quick to find. But what we know from creating a healthy house is that we really want to avoid plastic wherever we can for a number of reasons that we're going to talk about in this week's slides. The slides for this week are based on my blog post, and what I do is I just break down my blog post into a very visual format for you guys. Now, if you're someone who likes to read the post, find the links, I would encourage you to go to this week's blog post, which I have linked at the bottom of the video description. Otherwise, let's get started and find out how you can really organize your home with less plastic.
So I have always loved finding organizing ideas and running with them full steam ahead. I really love the feeling of a freshly organized space, no matter where it is in my home. And I do fully recognize that oftentimes the need to organize a space means that I just have too much stuff in general. In a very slow process over the course of years, I have cleared out different areas of my home and spaces, which has naturally resulted in a more organized space. But sometimes there are spots that can only be helped by some organizing ideas and not necessarily getting rid of items. One thing that I noticed a lot when it comes to organizing products is that so much of the products that you buy to help are plastic. As someone who tries not to purchase plastic where I can help it, I knew I had to find some alternatives to storage containers for organizing. I do still use the giant plastic containers for like holiday decorations and other things that we store in the garage because in Minnesota, the wildly drastic seasons can mean moisture is a really big issue and problem. But everywhere else in my home, I do my best to find plastic-free options. So if you're like me and you'll be purging and organizing with the new year, these ideas will really help you do it in a truly non-toxic way. So let's talk about organization and a healthy house. I really believe that a cluttered and disorganized home not only creates an internal feeling of disorganization, but it can also make your space feel unhealthy. I discussed this a little in a post about creating a space based on some Swedish concepts, and the feeling that our space evokes does matter to the health of our space and in our homes. So when a home feels stressful because it's either unkept or the decor is not aesthetically pleasing, it can certainly make us feel stressful or overwhelmed on the inside. Another reason that an organized space contributes to the health of the environment in our home is the dust factor. So dust can collect on items or surfaces that are too cluttered to be cleaned and can lead to toxins sitting on our items and entering our air. Dust contains pesticides, microplastics, mold spores, and allergens that all negatively affect our bodies. And then there's the idea that each item we bring into our home could potentially be bringing in toxins. So the fewer items you have in your home, the fewer toxins you're likely to have. In other words, you can greatly benefit from decluttering a space before organizing it. This is an important idea when it comes to objects, furniture, and household products. If implementing organizing ideas also means getting rid of some items, I would say it's a total win. So let's talk about some of the toxins in plastic and why I would like to go plastic free. So it can be really easy to just grab as many plastic containers as you can to start organizing your space. But before you jump into those organizing ideas with both feet, I really want us to rethink plastic. So plastic not only contains so many toxins, but it is also horrible for the environment. I do my absolute best to avoid purchasing plastic where I can and instead use natural materials. Not only for the harm it does to the environment due to its inability to break down, but also because it's not healthy for our spaces. So by bringing plastic into our space, we're also introducing phthalates into our home environment. Phthalates have been linked to neurological toxicity in kids, as well as have an adverse impact on neurodevelopment. This includes lower IQ, problems with attention and hyperactivity, and social communication that is just in general poorer than their counterparts. Phthalates also disrupt the endocrine system and can cause issues with thyroid, immune function, and the reproductive process. Another toxin is polyvinyl chloride, or a lot of times abbreviated as PVC. It's another component in plastic that is particularly harmful when we come in contact with it. So PVC has been linked to endocrine disruption that in turn plays a role in things like childhood obesity. PVC toxins have also been linked to cancer and neurological toxicity in kids. And then the third toxin that we're going to talk about is bisphenol toxins. This is anything from BPA to BPS, anything in between. Bisphenols are known endocrine disruptors and have been linked to metabolic disorders, reproductive disorders, obesity, and even breast cancer. This is why it's best to avoid these. So let's talk about what we can look for in materials when we're trying to find some really good organizing tools. First, I like to look for wood and bamboo. This is a natural material. It's a great alternative to plastic. However, it does not mean medium density fiberboard, particle board, or plywood, which all contain formaldehyde and other VOCs. You want to make sure you're getting a solid wood product, and if need be, you can always seal it with a VOC blocking clear coat like AFM has, and I have a link to that in this week's blog post. Another option would be jute, seagrass, sisal, all are natural fibers. Usually they're used in rugs. You can find baskets and organizers made from these earthy textures, and sometimes you can find a blend of them with other natural fibers, such as hemp. These materials in general do not require pesticides to be grown, and so they're often just naturally found in nature and a very renewable resource and very inexpensive to create with. Next, let's take a look at paper and cardboard. So I love cardboard boxes that are made for storage, or paper boxes that are made for organizing. Obviously, these are best used in very dry areas as they can absorb moisture and become moldy, but there are so many options here as many boxes and containers are made from recycled materials, and then you can recycle them when you're done with them. And a lot of them are decorated to be more design pieces and work great in offices and closets. Next, I want to talk about wire baskets. Stainless steel or other metal materials are a great way to go if you're looking for plastic-free storage containers. I love the ideas that incorporate wire baskets because you can actually see what's inside. They're a great option for under the sink as well because they do not hold on to any sort of moisture. Another idea is canvas. I like this idea for storing clothing that's out of season. Make sure that it's in a place that won't get a lot of moisture so that the clothing doesn't get moldy. Canvas is a good protector from dust, bugs, and other environmental allergens that can end up on your clothing. And then rattan. So this is kind of like a wicker. It's a naturally renewable resource. It's used in many applications from furniture to building materials even. Rattan is often naturally grown and harvested in Africa and Asia, and it requires no pesticides to grow. It's extremely hardy and it grows in areas that land would otherwise be unusable. So it's a really good renewable resource. It's very sturdy material that makes for great storage baskets and boxes. And then finally, fabric. So you can find cotton rope and wool blend felt, and they're great options for storage boxes and bins. They can be particularly good for kids' rooms and toys as they're generally softer yet sturdy. I love organizing ideas that incorporate this natural material as it's readily available and often quite inexpensive. So these are the picks that I have on this week's blog post, and you can see that we've got everything from wood crates to these Rugs by Rue canvas bins, which I absolutely love. These are all low toxins. Again, I have the links to all of these products on the website, on the blog post, which you can get to at the bottom of my video description. And then I also have a bonus, a declutter printable checklist for you guys. it's a great way to get started before you start organizing, and I have links to that on the blog post as well. And if you want more information, head to the link at the bottom of my video description.
You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and going through this week's blog post about organizing your home with less plastic. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me a comment or send me an email. Otherwise, I will be back next week with another healthy house tip on creating an indoor space and environment that really supports your health and wellness.